Sigma males move quietly but think deeply. They don't show off. They don't compete for attention. But behind that quiet presence is a sharp mind, one that sees more, understands faster, and plans further than most people around them. Their intelligence doesn't scream, it waits, it listens, it strikes when needed. This is what makes Sigma males so different. They don't operate inside the normal system. They don't care about ranks, approval, or applause. Their knowledge is personal. Their insights are private, and that kind of silent intelligence is often misunderstood or feared. What makes it terrifying isn't just how smart they are, it's how calm they are about it. They don't brag. They don't warn. They just know, and then they act. That ability to move in silence while thinking at a high level can shake people, especially those who rely on being the smartest in the room. Sigma males don't always have the highest test scores. They're not always the loudest thinkers, but they absorb information quickly. They break down problems with precision. They don't rush to speak, but when they do, people listen. And not just because of what they say, but because of how accurate and well-timed it is. In social settings, they can see patterns most miss. In work, they find better ways to do things. In life, they question rules, look past trends, and often create new paths others eventually follow. That kind of thinking doesn't just stand out. It challenges the structure of how most people live. Their intelligence is quiet but sharp, focused but flexible, unpredictable but calculated. And for those who value control, dominance, or being seen as the top thinker, the Sigma male is hard to handle because he doesn't play the game. He rewrites it or ignores it completely. This is why the intelligence of Sigma males can feel threatening, not because they flaunt it, but because they don't need to. And when you don't need recognition, your intelligence becomes even harder to predict or stop. In this video, we'll break down 6 reasons why Sigma male intelligence is so powerful and why it quietly shakes the world around them. Let's begin with the first reason: their ability to think deeper and clearer than most people ever realize. Reason number 1, deep analytical thinking. Sigma males don't rush into action. They observe. They break things down. They ask why, how, and what for, before anyone else even realizes something is happening. This deep thinking is one of their greatest strengths. It gives them clarity, accuracy, and a powerful sense of control. While most people react quickly or follow patterns, Sigma males look behind the scenes. They want to know how things actually work. Whether it's a system, a problem, a person, or a rule, they study it before deciding what to do. This analytical habit comes naturally. They're wired to look deeper. When someone tells a Sigma male how to do something, he doesn't just follow. He questions. Not in a loud or rebellious way, but in a quiet, focused way. He wants to know if the method makes sense. If it doesn't, he'll find a better one. That mindset doesn't depend on emotions or pressure. It depends on logic. Sigma males are especially good at noticing what others miss. Small changes in patterns, signs of weakness in a plan, or things that don't quite add up. These details stand out to them. Their minds are trained to spot problems early and fix them before they grow. That's one reason why people often turn to them for help when things get serious. In conversations, they're slow to speak, but fast to see the truth. They listen closely. They pay attention not just to words, but to tone, timing, and what's being avoided. This lets them read between the lines. And once they do, they respond in a way that cuts through confusion and gets right to the point. This level of awareness can make others uncomfortable. People who rely on charm or fast talk don't do well around Sigma males. The Sigma won't be fooled. He'll see what's really happening, and even if he doesn't say it out loud, his silence says enough. In debates, they don't raise their voice. They let facts speak for them. And if they're not sure about something, they'll go research before responding. This care with information makes them accurate. It also makes them hard to argue with. Deep thinking also makes Sigma males patient. They don't panic under pressure. They know how to slow things down and look at the big picture. While others are reacting, they're analyzing, and that delay gives them an edge. because by the time they move, they already understand what most people haven't even considered yet. In daily life, this shows up in how they plan, how they respond, and how they solve problems. They might not speak much, but when they act, the effect is clear. They're not guessing, they're calculating. That's why their decisions often lead to long-term results. This kind of thinking takes time. That's why Sigma males often step back before they step in. They're not avoiding action, they're preparing for it. And when they finally move, they do it with full understanding. That's what makes their intelligence so intimidating. It's not about speed, it's about depth. And in a world full of noise, people who think deeply are often the ones who shape what happens next. Reason number 2, innovative problem solving. When a problem shows up, most people reach for a familiar solution. They do what worked last time. They copy someone else. They follow the steps. But Sigma males aren't built like that. When they see a problem, they see a challenge and a chance to create something new. Sigma males don't just fix problems. They rework the entire system behind them. They don't ask, "What's the fastest way to get through this?" They ask, "What's the smartest way to make sure this never happens again?" That shift in mindset changes everything. This is where their intelligence gets really noticeable. Because while others are scrambling for short-term fixes, the Sigma male is designing something better, something original. He combines logic with creativity. He sees how parts connect, and he's not afraid to break rules if those rules are broken already. This mindset often starts early. Sigma males may have questioned school systems, group projects, or authority figures, not out of disrespect, but because they noticed weak spots. They saw what didn't make sense and couldn't pretend it did. Instead of staying quiet or going along, they began solving problems in their own way. That habit becomes a skill. Over time, they build confidence in their thinking. They don't wait for approval before trying something new. If they believe in their approach, they'll test it, and most of the time, they'll improve what others thought was already good enough. This scares people who are stuck in the old way of thinking. When a Sigma male walks into a broken system and offers a better path, it shines a light on flaws others ignored. It also threatens the ego of people who built their identity around those systems. Change always brings tension, and Sigma males bring change naturally. Their problem-solving isn't just technical. It's emotional too. They notice when a process is creating stress, conflict, or confusion. They think, "How can this be done better for everyone?" That mix of efficiency and empathy makes their solutions powerful and hard to copy. They also work alone, which gives them more freedom. Without group pressure, they can think freely, take risks, and challenge the norm. This independence often leads to smarter, leaner, and more honest solutions than what's created in groupthink environments. When their ideas work, it surprises people. "Why didn't we think of that?" is a common reaction. The answer is simple. Most people were too focused on doing what's expected. The Sigma wasn't. He was focused on what worked. This kind of thinking leads to innovation, whether in business, tech, relationships, or personal growth. And innovation always challenges comfort zones. That's what makes Sigma intelligence not just smart, but dangerous to old systems. Reason number 3, emotional intelligence. When people think of intelligence, they often picture logic, numbers, or solving problems. But there's another kind of intelligence that's just as important, and even more powerful in social settings. It's emotional intelligence, and Sigma males have it in a way that's both quiet and sharp. Sigma males are not emotionally cold. They are emotionally aware. They understand how they feel. They know how to manage their reactions. They don't let emotions control them, but they don't ignore them either. This balance gives them an edge in every part of life. They also see what others are feeling, even when no one says it out loud. They pay attention to body language, tone, timing, and energy. They can sense when someone is lying, stressed, or pretending. And because they're not trying to impress anyone, they can stay neutral and calm while they figure out what's really going on. This makes them excellent at reading situations. In a group, they know who's confident and who's bluffing. In a conversation, they know when to push and when to hold back. They don't need big words or emotional outbursts. They move with quiet understanding, and that can be deeply unsettling for people who use emotion to manipulate or control. People who rely on guilt, shame, or drama often fail around Sigma males. Why? Because Sigmas don't respond to emotional traps. They don't get pulled into panic or games. They don't raise their voice to match yours. They stay grounded. That emotional stability removes the control from those who feed off reaction. In relationships, this shows up as clear communication and strong boundaries. Sigma males don't chase. They don't try to fix people emotionally, but they do listen. They do support. They do care, just without losing themselves in someone else's chaos. This confuses people who are used to emotional highs and lows. The Sigma male doesn't give them that roller coaster. He gives them peace. And for some, peace feels like emptiness. They don't know how to function without the drama, so they label the Sigma male as distant, even though he's just steady. This level of emotional control takes years to develop. Many Sigma males had to learn it early. Maybe they were misunderstood, left out, or forced to figure things out alone. That pain became power. They learned how to watch people, how to listen between the lines, and how to protect their own emotional space. And once they master that space, they become nearly impossible to manipulate. They don't overreact. They don't try to please everyone. They stay centered. And that's what makes their emotional intelligence so terrifying, because you can't knock them off balance. People who thrive on emotional chaos lose their power in the presence of a Sigma male. His calm shows them how out of control they really are. His peace shows them what they're missing, and his silence makes them face their own noise. That's the real power of emotional intelligence. It doesn't just help you, it changes the room you walk into. And Sigma males do it without trying. Reason number 4, strategic vision. Sigma males don't just live in the moment. They think ahead. They don't get caught in short-term wins or flashy rewards. They focus on the long game. This habit of thinking several steps ahead is part of what makes their intelligence so intimidating. While others chase attention, money, or quick success, Sigma males are planning. They're watching. They're building something bigger, often in silence. They don't announce their moves. They don't need to. By the time others realize what's happening, the Sigma male is already 5 moves ahead. This kind of thinking isn't just smart, it's strategic. It's about timing, direction, and patience. Sigma males know that real power doesn't come from fast action. It comes from knowing exactly when to act. They're like chess players in a room full of checkers. They analyze situations deeply. Before making a decision, they ask themselves where it's leading. Not just tomorrow, but months or even years down the line. This helps them avoid common traps, bad relationships, dead-end jobs, or wasted time. They also study people. They remember details. They notice patterns. If someone lies once, they file it away. If a system fails, they learn from it. Everything becomes part of a larger strategy. And because they don't speak about their plans, no one can predict them. This makes them hard to compete with. While others are reacting to problems, the Sigma male is already adjusting. He's flexible but not aimless. He adapts without losing sight of where he's going. That balance of vision and movement is rare and powerful. In business, this shows up as leadership without a title. The Sigma male may not want to be the boss, but people still follow his thinking. Why? Because it works. His ideas are clear, simple, and long-lasting. He builds solutions, not bandages. In life, it means setting goals and staying with them. He might not post about what he's working on. He might not even talk about it. But he's working every day, quietly building something most people won't understand until it's finished. People with fragile egos struggle with this. They want to know what the Sigma is thinking. They want to copy his plan. But there is no visible plan to copy. That's what makes it terrifying. It's invisible until it's done, and then it's unstoppable. Sigma males trust the process. They don't need quick wins to feel good. They don't need others to clap while they work. They stay focused. They stay patient. And when the time is right, they move fast, sharp, and with purpose. That kind of vision scares people who live day to day, because the Sigma male reminds them of how short their plans are and how far behind they really are, even if they look successful on the outside. Reason number 5, mastery of adaptability. Sigma males don't get stuck. When things change, they adjust. When the plan fails, they rebuild. When life throws a curveball, they step back, reassess, and move forward again. This ability to adapt makes their intelligence practical and powerful. While many people panic in new situations, Sigma males stay calm. They don't need everything to be perfect. They just need enough space to think. That's where their true skill comes in. They can drop the old plan and build a new one without losing direction. This comes from their mindset. Sigma males don't tie their identity to one idea, one job, or one outcome. They're focused on growth, not image. So when things break, they don't break with them. They change course, not character. They're also fast learners. When dropped into new environments, they observe. They figure out how things work. They test ideas quietly. And once they understand the rules, they either follow them or bend them to create a better result. This ability makes them dangerous to rigid systems. Rules that don't make sense? They'll find a way around. Situations that seem unwinnable? They'll find a different angle. Problems that scare others? The Sigma sees them as puzzles. People who depend on fixed systems struggle with this. They want things to stay the same. They feel safe when the rules are clear and everyone plays by them. But the Sigma male doesn't need that structure. He builds his own if he has to. And that kind of freedom looks like chaos to people who live by order. In work, this makes him valuable in crisis. When things fall apart, the Sigma male shines. While others are blaming or waiting for orders, he's already adjusting. He doesn't panic, he plans. That kind of presence becomes a lifeline for those around him. In relationships, it means growing through change. The Sigma doesn't resist change if it leads to something better. He doesn't get stuck in old patterns just because they're familiar. If something isn't working, he evolves. This adaptability is rooted in self-trust. The Sigma male knows he can handle new challenges. That belief makes him fearless in places where others freeze, and it keeps him moving forward while others stall out. People who need predictability fear this. The Sigma male is too flexible, too hard to pin down. He can walk away from comfort. He can let go of old roles. And he can thrive where others fall apart. That's what makes his intelligence terrifying. It's not just smart, it's mobile. It learns, it shifts, and it survives everything. Reason number 6, relentless pursuit of knowledge. Sigma males never stop learning. They aren't satisfied with what they already know. They don't rely on old success or past achievements. Every day they look for ways to grow, improve, and get better. Not to impress anyone, but because it's in their nature. This desire for knowledge isn't random. It's focused. Sigma males learn with purpose. If something catches their attention, they dig deep. They don't just skim the surface. They want to understand how it works, why it matters, and how it connects to other things. They also don't learn for praise. They don't care about showing off degrees or talking about what they've read. Most of their learning happens quietly. Alone, in private. Books, podcasts, real-world experience, whatever it takes, they stay curious and sharp. This trait makes them dangerous in the best way. Because while others are relaxing, bragging, or assuming they know enough, the Sigma male is upgrading his mind. Slowly, consistently, without saying a word. Over time, this builds a huge advantage. He can walk into a room and understand more than people who've been there for years. He doesn't need to be told what's wrong. He's already studied the problem. He doesn't guess, he knows. This deep well of knowledge isn't just about facts. It's about strategy, people, patterns, systems, emotions, leadership, everything. And because Sigma males are lifelong learners, their intelligence keeps growing, while others hit a ceiling. They also connect ideas in creative ways. Something they learned 5 years ago might suddenly solve a problem today. That ability to link lessons across time and space gives them powerful insight. They don't learn just to remember, they learn to apply. This terrifies people who stopped learning a long time ago. They feel threatened, not just by what the Sigma male knows, but by how fast he's growing. They can't catch up because he's not slowing down. Every week, every month, every year, he's sharper than he was before. This pursuit of knowledge also makes Sigma males adaptable. If a skill is missing, they'll go learn it. If a topic is unclear, they'll spend hours figuring it out. They don't need someone to teach them. They're self-taught, self-driven, and self-reliant. In relationships, this makes them better partners. They learn how to communicate. They study emotional needs. They reflect on past mistakes. They grow for real, not to impress, but because they want to understand more deeply. In work, it makes them strong competitors. They're not waiting for training or instruction. They take initiative. They know more than their role requires. And they're always looking for ways to improve results. Their learning style also keeps them grounded. The more they learn, the more they realize how much they don't know. This humility is powerful. It keeps their ego low and their focus high. That's what separates them from people who stop learning and start pretending. This is why the Sigma male's intelligence is so intimidating. It never stops moving. It never stops growing. It's like a quiet engine, always running, always improving, always building something better. And that's a kind of power that's hard to match. The intelligence of Sigma males isn't loud. It doesn't beg for attention. It doesn't try to dominate a room, but it's there, always working. Deep thinking, quiet planning, constant learning. And all of it creates a kind of power that doesn't need to be seen to be felt. What makes it so intimidating is the way it shows up, slow, steady, and unexpected. The Sigma male doesn't brag. He doesn't compete for titles. He just moves through the world with clarity. And that clarity exposes the weakness in people who depend on noise, control, or appearances. His mind is sharp. His emotions are steady. His focus is deep. He doesn't chase people. He doesn't beg for recognition. He just builds, learns, and grows. And in doing so, he challenges the way others live, even when he says nothing at all. The lessons here aren't about being perfect. They're about being intentional, about choosing growth over comfort, about thinking clearly instead of reacting fast, and about walking your own path, even when no one understands it. That's the real message behind the Sigma mindset. Intelligence is more than knowledge. It's how you move, how you think, how you adapt, and how you stay true to yourself no matter who's watching. So if you see a Sigma male and wonder why he feels different, now you know. It's not just his actions. It's the mind behind them. Always working, always improving, always one step ahead.